The Peralez storyline in Cyberpunk is a personal favorite for many in the community. You originally receive a call from Elizabeth, a woman asking for help, and upon meeting with her and her husband Jefferson in person, you come to the realization that they are in grave danger. And because Jefferson is running to be mayor, it's important that you get to the bottom of it quickly. You see, recently Jefferson awoke in the middle of the night and heard people inside his penthouse. He got his gun and tried to look around, but was immediately knocked out and doesn't remember anything else. Elizabeth thinks her husband is being paranoid and wants to help, but Jefferson is sure something is up. And as you snoop around their house, it is slowly unraveled that they have been monitored this entire time by a corporation they are now paying to protect them, SSRI, a lesser known and new protection firm, similar to Night Corp. Hidden away in the middle of the Peralez's home is a secret monitoring facility where SSRI has been watching every move the Peralez's have been making. Someone is after them, and in an attempt to figure out who, you track down a van nearby that is sending a signal to the house. And when you get there, after clearing out a group of unknown bad guys, you hack into the van and discover that this unknown group is actually in the process of mind controlling the Peralez's. The reason they have been forgetting things and not feeling like themselves is because programs are being executed on their local chips to slowly transform them into puppets. You let Elizabeth know, and Jefferson, depending on what you choose to do, and the quest ends there, with a mysterious figure warning you over a call to stop looking into what you have discovered. But you see, at the end of the questline, you also may notice a man off in the distance staring at you. A man the Cyberpunk community affectionately calls Mr. Blue Eyes. This man has been watching you throughout the entire questline from different vantage points, and upon finding him at the end, he vanishes out of thin air. But we learn something about him from that short glimpse we get. Sitting on his finger is a ring that seems harmless at first. However, upon closer inspection, it becomes clear we have seen this ring before in many places. In fact, in some of the stories on this list before. Characters like Gary the Prophet, the monks praying to the magenta statue, and some higher level and shady characters we come across throughout the entire game. Furthermore, in one of the endings of the game, we actually get to meet Mr. Blue Eyes, and he tasks us with going to the Crystal Palace in space on a death mission, where the game abruptly ends as you float towards the structure. This man is clearly in the know about many things, and has friends in many high places and power we are not yet aware of. And the connections between the conspiracies of Cyberpunk and this blue-eyed man start to paint a picture that there may be something more going on in this universe. As stated before, Gary the Prophet and the magenta statues with the monks praying to them are all pointing to some sort of alien conspiracy on the net, or even Bartmoss, who is alluded to as having a golden ring of similar sorts to the blue-eyed man in one shard, claims aliens have taken over. Could this blue-eyed man, and all those with these rings of power praying to these mysterious statues, somehow be connected? Is there a conspiracy going on so grand in Cyberpunk that the entire future of the franchise could be dependent on it? It seems every important character is connected to this mystery somehow, and we may have some clues as to how when investigating the game's files for Mr. Blue Eyes. You see, his undershirt is actually referenced in the game files as man_average_Q115_blackhand_D. The reason this is so interesting is because Morgan Blackhand is a main character from the original Cyberpunk tabletop lore, who took place in the Arasaka nuclear bombing with Johnny Silverhand decades ago. But in the game, we never meet him. Could Blackhand somehow be a part of this ultimate alien conspiracy, mind control takeover of the net that will result in the complete annihilation of the human race as we know it? Potentially a story for a future Cyberpunk game or DLC.